All right. The last concept we're going to talk about for exponent laws is exponents on exponents. So questions that will look like this. But we also need to call back to some of the stuff we learned last unit where we were doing distributive properties. So when we have the rainbows, okay? We'll get to the rainbows in a sec. It's actually not that bad. This is the weird concept we have to go over. So if we think of it the way we've done before, x to the power of 3 to the power of 4. This power of 4 means multiplied by itself 4 times. So that means we have x to the power of 3 4 times. Okay, those are all multiplied together. So now to make it even easier, I'm going to rewrite these because I know that x to the power of 3 is really x times x times x. And each of these will become x times x times x. Oh my gosh, that's like 12 x's, which means it's x times itself 12 times. Now, I'm not going to do that every single question. So let's try and see the pattern of what's going on. If we take those two numbers, okay, so if we take this number right here, the x to the power of 3, and the x to the power of all of that to the power of 4, when you multiply those together, you get the final answer. So really, the pattern is that you take these two numbers and you multiply. Be very careful, because what a lot of students do is they mix this up, because when we had something like this, they'll think, okay, wait, so we multiply this, right? So this is like x to the 10? No. This one, when we're multiplying, we add. And then when we do something like this, where we have an exponent to an exponent, that's when we multiply, and that becomes x to the 10. So just remember that these two are different. And you have to think, the way I kind of remember is that in this case, we're multiplying, right? So we have to do one thing smaller than multiplying, which is adding. In this case, we're doing an exponent, and to do one degree smaller would be multiplying. However it is that you have to remember, whether you visualize it and draw out an example like this, or you just remember the pattern, it doesn't matter. You need to know how these work, and just understand that when you do it like this, they have to be multiplied together. Okay? Now, let's do a tough question, this one right here, and we'll see how that works. All right. This question. The reason it's hard is because we have this coefficient. At the start, I'm going to think, wait, can these two go together? So they're adding right now. I know I can't add them because this is x cubed and this is x10. They're not the exact same. They're not like terms, so we can't put them together. So instead, I'm going to do my rainbows distributive property, and I'm going to do this term multiplied by this term. Let's just do that to start. So 2 times 4, that's 8. Numbers work the same way. And then we have x squared times x to the 3. I think back when we're doing multiplying with exponents, we just add them. So that becomes x 2 plus 3. That's x to the 5. Now I'm going to do the second term. So I'm going to do this 2x squared times the x to the 10. It's plus as well. So let's get the plus. This is going to be 2 times, there's a 1 here, so it becomes just a 2 for the numbers. And then we're going to do x squared times x to the 10. And again, I'm multiplying, so it's going to be adding. So it's going to be x squared plus 10 gives me x to the 12. And then final check to see if I can put anything together. This was x to the 5, this was x 12. Those aren't like terms, so they can't be combined. So I have to just leave them adding together like that. And that's my final answer. That's how you do those questions. So when you have an exponent question like this, x to the power of 5 all to the power of 4, we have to take those two numbers and multiply them together. So it's x to the 5 times 4, that would be x to the 20. When we have a question like this, where we have the exponents, so we have like 3y squared times y to the 4 minus 10y 5. We go one at a time and we have to do distributive properties. So this times this, and then this times this. So this one becomes 3y squared times y4 is going to give me y6 because I add them together. Then this one's going to give negative 30 y7. That's it. That's how we do the exponents.